So this is on the Sun Salutation A and B, or Surya Namaskar A and B. And they're meant to warm up the body. Most teachers usually use them at the beginning of a practice or shortly after a warm up just to get things going. And we build all of our sequences in yoga after these two sequences. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to start with the modifications for these sequences. So we'll go through Sun Salutation A modifications and then traditional flow. And then we'll run through that a few times, see what feels best for you. And then we'll do the same thing with B, and then we'll put the two together, which all sounds like a lot for 30 minutes. And then we'll just do a little wind down, just a few minutes to kind of slow things down on this. If you're here on the East Coast, we have a lot of snow. It's still coming down. We're going to get it until tomorrow afternoon here. So let's get started. For Sun Salutation A, you start at the top of your mat, and traditionally you start with your feet together, your big toes touching, your heel, little separation between your heels. You start to stack the body on top of itself. But for a modification, you might find if you're doing it this way, that you might have a little bit of trouble balancing with your feet together. So just step your feet a little bit apart. Or in yoga, we say 2 fist distance apart. So you can take your fists, put them between your feet, and then that distance there might help you a little bit more with grounding down into your Tadasana, your mountain pose. So sorry, I just want to make sure that this isn't somebody trying to pop on. I think it's Jill. Yeah, it's Jill. We're good. So two fist distance apart, spread the toes wide, and just shift your weight a little bit back and forth between the toes and the heels, and start to stack the body on top of itself. So the knees on top of the ankles, hips on top of the knees, shoulders on top of the hips. Arms resting at your sides, and allow the shoulders to come down away from the ears. You might notice that your booty starts to stick out a little bit here, so you can take your hand on your belly and the other hand on your lower back and just pull the hips forward. Push the belly back in, and that's the pose that you want to get, little bend in the knees. So this is Tadasana Modified with the feet apart. On the inhale, reach your arms up overhead. And usually we bring the palms together, but again, that might not feel great on the shoulders. So you can take the palms shoulder width distance apart, still reaching, and pull the shoulders away from the ears. Relax the neck and hold here. So that's our reach. On the exhale, you'll fold down, coming all the way down to plant your palms on the earth. Now I know not everybody can get their hands right on the earth, so what you can do is just bend your knees. No matter what, when you're doing this fold, I want you to get your palms to the earth. So bend your knees as much as you have to for that to happen. Because right after that, you're going to inhale to straighten the legs anyway. Bring the palms either to the shins, to the thighs, maybe the fingertips to the mat. Gazing forward, just out over the tip of your nose. You don't want to lift your chin and crunch the back of your neck. You want the neck nice and long. So your gaze is just slightly forward and down. Draw that belly button in, nice flat back here. On the exhale, refold. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Palms come to the mat. Step back into a plank pose. To modify here, not everybody is into a plank. So we're going to drop our knees down here and untuck our toes. So the knees aren't right underneath the hips. They're further back. So from your plank, just drop the knees right down, untuck the toes. And we'll do a modified Chaturanga here. Most people, a lot of people aren't able to do a Chaturanga. So what we're going to do is from our low plank, bend the elbows, keep them tucked to your sides, and your heart's going to move a little bit forward, so not just straight down. Elbows tucked to your sides until they get to a 90-degree angle. Then drop the belly, straighten your arms, and open your heart. Squeeze the shoulder blades together behind you. Press that belly, those hips down. And transition back into a child's pose. Draw the tailbone back toward the heels and rest your forehead down on the mat. This is a great transition when you're starting a practice and just warming up the body before you come up into your down dog, because you're in the perfect position for a down dog from here. You just tuck the toes under and start to straighten the legs, pressing the hips up, press through the palms, driving the heels back. Now, down dog doesn't feel fantastic for everybody, so feel free to put a little bend into your knees. Draw that belly in, relax the neck and the shoulders, your gaze is towards your thighs. And from here, gazing towards your palms, step your right foot all the way up so it plants next to your right hand. And then your left foot next to your left hand. Inhale, halfway lift to that flat back. Exhale, refold. And then roll up one vertebrae at a time, coming all the way up. Reach the arms up overhead. Hands come to the heart. So I'll move through that one more time. A little bit faster, but going through each one of the modifications. So for Tadasana, feet are hip width distance apart. Reach the arms up overhead. Palms don't have to come together. Exhale, fold, coming all the way down. Bend the knees so the palms come to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift to a flat back. Palms to shins or thighs, gazing forward. Exhale, refold, bend the knees, plant the palms, step back to plank, and drop the knees. Bend the elbows, keep them tucked to your sides as you lower down halfway to a 90-degree angle. Drop the belly, straighten the arms, shine the heart forward, legs are on the mat. Drive the hips back toward the heels for child's pose. Tuck the toes under, lift the hips, straighten the legs, press back, downward facing dog. Bending into the knees to be a little bit more comfortable into this pose. Gaze forward. Draw that right knee toward the chest as you plant the right foot near the right hand, and then the left foot to follow. Inhale, halfway lift to a flat back. Exhale, refold. Take a slow roll up to stand. Reach the arms up overhead. Hands come to the heart. So those are our modifications. Now we'll move through a traditional Surya Namaskar A. Feet together, zipping up the legs, spread the toes wide. Hips stacked on top of the knees. On the inhale, reach the arms up overhead, bring the palms together. With the palms together, drop the shoulders away from the ears. You want the biceps back by the ears, not forward. Drawing them back. Exhale, fold, coming all the way down with straight legs. Palms come to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift to a flat back, come up onto the fingertips. Exhale, refold, plant the palms, step back into plank pose. You're going to move through a traditional Chaturanga here. You staying up on the toes, bend the elbows, bring the heart down halfway, 90-degree angle. Roll over the toes, straighten the arms, legs and hips are lifted. Squeeze the shoulder blades together behind you. Exhale, tuck the toes under, lift the hips, press back to downward facing dog. Take a deep inhale in here as you lift the tailbone to the sky. With each exhale, drive the heels closer to the mat, trying to get them to touch. To move forward, you can rise up onto the toes, bend the knees to look forward. A little bit more advanced, you can hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift to a flat back. Exhale, refold. Inhale, root to rise, reach the arms up overhead. Palms come to heart center in prayer. We'll do that again, and I'll add the hop for us to get back into plank pose. When you're doing the hop to come back to plank, you want your elbows bent right away. because you don't want to put that pressure on straight arms. We'll show you how to do it. Starting in Tadasana, big toes together to touch. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, fold, coming all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back on the fingertips. Exhale, refold, plant the palms. Float back, lower down through Chaturanga. Roll over the toes, open the heart. Lift the hips, downward facing dog. Coming to our hop forward once again. Rise up onto the toes, bend the knees, gaze forward. Step or float, the feet to the hands. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hands to heart center in prayer. We'll do that one more time, and you can either take the modification or the traditional variations. I'll move with the modification for you this time around. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold, coming all the way down. Maybe bend the knees. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plant the palms, step or float back. Either stay up high or drop the knees, lower down through your Chaturanga. Draw your heart forward and through, straighten your arms, upward facing dog or tall cobra. Tuck the toes under, lift the hips, downward facing dog, or transition through child's pose to eventually lift the hips. Draw a deep inhale in, maybe put a bend into those knees. Rise up onto the toes, bend the knees to look forward. Step the right foot to the right hand or float the feet to the top of the mat. Left foot follows. Inhale, halfway lift to a flat back. Exhale, refold. Inhale, reach up, stretch up. Hands come to the heart. So that's Surya Namaskar A, or Sun Salutation A. We do that a lot to warm up the body. Where I'm going to show you Sun Salutation B, which has a lot of parts of A in it. So there's really only 2 more poses that we'll add to our sequence to make it into Sun B. First one is right off the bat, chair pose, or Utkatasana. Traditionally, our feet are together, but again, option to take the feet hip-width distance apart. Bend the knees, sink the seat down. So you want to feel as though you're sitting in an awkward chair. You want to be able to see your toes. So if you can't see your toes, if your knees are bent too much and too far forward, sit back a little. If you still can't see them, straighten your legs a little bit. Biceps are up by the ears. If that's really uncomfortable, you can work on bringing the hands behind the head. Just squeeze the shoulder blades together behind you. Trying to open up that heart. If that still doesn't work for you, feel free to take goalpost arms and keep squeezing those shoulder blades together. Tailbone is tucked under. This might be killing you if you're holding it here with me. On the exhale, fold over straight legs. Option to keep the knees bent to get the palms to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift to a flat back. Just like Surya Namaskar A. Exhale, refold, plant the palms. Step back into our plank. Drop to the knees, move through our vinyasa here. Lowering down halfway, open the heart, upward facing dog. Lift the hips, downward facing dog. So the only other pose we're going to add besides chair pose is warrior one. On the inhale, shift the weight into the left foot and bring the right foot up. So you want to be able to see your toes when you lift this right foot. So it's not about how high you can lift it. You want the hips square in line with one another. So you don't want that right leg up too high. You still want to be able to see the toes. Option to either point or flex the foot. I like mine flexed. Pull the knee forward and through. Plant the right foot next to the right hand. And create a firm foundation here by dropping that left heel to the mat. Left toes are pointed toward the top left corner of the mat. From here, bending into that right knee, rise up into warrior one. This might feel super uncomfortable. I don't love this pose. Feel free to shorten your stance to make it a little bit more comfortable. The other thing that you can do to feel better in this pose is bring your hands behind your lower back. Notice if one hip is further forward than the other. Probably is. It's usually that right hip if the right leg is forward. So what you can do, straighten that front leg. Notice that right hip come back. Keep that hip back as you start to put a bend into that right knee again. So you might not be bending as far into that right knee, but it's not about how deep you can bend that knee. It's about keeping those hips square. From here, once you have your feet and your hips all set, building from the bottom up, reach the arms to the sky. Biceps are up by the ears, shoulders dropped down. If this is really uncomfortable for you, again, you can take those goalpost arms, bending the elbows, squeeze the shoulder blades together, work on getting those arms alongside the ears. Find one more deep breath here. Exhale, circle the palms down, frame the front foot. Come to the ball of the back foot, step the right foot back to meet the left, and flow through your vinyasa. Drop to the knees, lower down halfway, straighten the arms, open the heart. Come back through child's pose. Tuck the toes under, lift the hips, downward facing dog. In yoga, we do everything on one side and then we move to the other. Lift the left leg up and back. Make sure that hip is square. You can see the toes. Pull the knee forward and through. Plant the left foot. Drop the right heel. Right toes point toward the top corner of the mat. And rise up into all that discomfort that is warrior one. Immediately bring the hands to the lower back to notice again that that left hip is probably a little bit further forward than the right. Straighten that left leg to pull that left hip back. Keep that left hip where it is and start to put a bend into that left knee. Reach the arms up overhead, biceps by the ears. Or bend the elbows, find those cactus arms. Breathe into the tightness of that lower back. And on the exhale, circle the palms down, frame the front foot. Step to the ball of the back foot. Left foot meets right. Drop the knees. Lower down. Open the heart. Press back through child's pose. Tuck the toes under. Lift the hips, downward facing dog. Transitioning to come back up to our chair. Rise up onto the toes, bend the knees to look forward. Right foot meets the right hand, left foot follows. Inhale, halfway lift to a flat back. Exhale, refold. Bend the knees, sink the seat down to find your awkward chair. Hands come to the heart, straighten the legs. All right, we'll do that one more time with the modifications, and then I'll show you the traditional Surya Namaskar beat. Feet hip width distance apart, bend the knees, sink the seat down low, tuck the tailbone under, biceps up by the ears, keep the knees stacked on top of the ankles, make sure you can see those toes. Exhale, fold, bring the hands down, you can keep a bend into the knees. Inhale, this time straighten the legs. Gaze forward, flat back. Exhale, refold, plant the palms, step back into plank pose. Drop the knees, lower down through your modified Chaturanga. Draw the heart forward and through upward facing dog or tall cobra. Move back through your child's pose and lift the hips, downward facing dog. Find your warrior one by lifting the right leg. Make sure you see those toes. Pull the knee forward and through. Plant the right foot, drop the left heel, left toes forward. Bring the hands to the lower back. Straighten that front leg, pull that right hip back, and then rebend, keeping that right hip pulled back. Reach the arms to the sky, maybe goalpost the arms. Circle the palms down, frame the front foot, come to the ball of the back foot, right foot steps back, drop the knees. Lower down. Open your heart. Come back through child's pose. Tuck the toes under, downward facing dog. Left side, left leg lifts. Pull the knee forward and through. Warrior one. Plant the left foot. Drop the right heel, toes point forward. Coming up, notice those hips. Straighten the front leg to pull that hip back. Rebend, keep that left hip pulling back. Reach the arms to the sky, maybe goalpost the arms. One more deep breath here. Circle the palms down, frame the front foot. Come to the ball of the back foot. Left foot comes back to the right, drop the knees. Bend the elbows. Open the heart, straighten the arms. Come back through child's pose. Tuck the toes under, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Coming back to our chair pose, rise up onto the toes, bend the knees to look forward. Right foot forward, and then left. Inhale, halfway lift to a flat back. Exhale, refold. Bend the knees, sink the seat, awkward chair. Hands come to the heart. Straightening the legs. All right, I'm out of breath. So we'll do the traditional Surya Namaskar B. I'll move through that rather quickly because it's very much the same, other than just having the feet together and maybe not making all the little adjustments on the hips. Starting with the feet together, inhale, bend the knees, sink the seat, awkward chair pose. Squeeze the thighs together, sink the seat down low. Reach through the fingertips, biceps up by the ears, draw that belly button in. Exhale, fold over straight legs. Palms come to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, gaze forward. Exhale, plant the palms, step or float back. Lowering down through your Chaturanga, draw your heart forward and through, upward facing dog. Lift the hips, downward facing dog. Inhale, reach the right leg up and back, down dog split. Pull that knee forward and through, warrior one, plant the right foot, drop the left heel, rising up. Now, if you were doing this in a traditional yoga class, your teacher might do one pose, one breath, and it moves rather quickly. So I'm getting out of breath already. Bending into that knee. On the exhale, circle the palms down, frame the front foot, come to the ball of the back foot. Option to take a one-legged plank here. So draw that right foot back. You can keep the right leg lifted. Lower down through Chaturanga. Draw your heart forward and through as you drop the toes. Lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Other side. Reach the left leg up and back, down dog split. Pull the knee forward and through. Plant the left foot. Drop the right heel. Rising up. Exhale, circle the palms down, frame the front foot, come to the ball of the back foot, find your one-legged plank, keep that left leg lifted, bend the elbows lower down halfway, drop the foot, as you open your heart, upward facing dog, lift the hips, downward facing dog. I'm gonna take 3 deep breaths here, just to slow it all down. From your down dog, rise up onto the toes, bend the knees to look forward. Step or float to the top of your mat. Halfway lift to a flat back. Exhale, refold. Bend the knees, sink the seat, awkward chair. Exhale, hands come to heart center in prayer. Whew. All right, we'll do that one more time. We'll do 1 round of Sun Salutation A and 1 round of Sun Salutation B. Feel free to use the modifications. You can go slower than what I'm going. You can move faster if your breath is a bit faster. We'll just do 1 of each, and then we'll come down onto our mats to breathe and to relax. Starting with Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge at the hips to fold, coming all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, refold, plant the palms, step or float back, lowering down through your plank or drop the knees, draw your heart forward and through, upward facing dog. Lift the hips, downward facing dog, or transition through child's pose. Deep inhale in. Exhale out. Inhale, rise up onto the toes, bend the knees to look forward. Step or float to the top of your mat. Halfway lift to a flat back. Exhale, refold. Inhale, roll up to stand, reach the arms up overhead. Hands come to the heart. Surya Namaskar A B. Inhale, bend the knees, sink the seat, Utkatasana, awkward chair pose. Sink it down low. Exhale, fold over straight legs or keep the knees bent. Inhale, halfway lift to a flat back. Exhale, refold, plant the palms, step or float back, lowering down through your Chaturanga or drop the knees, draw the heart forward and through, upward facing dog. Lift the hips, downward facing dog. Finding warrior one, reach the right leg up and back, down dog split. Draw that knee forward and through, plant the right foot, drop the left heel. Rising up, taking any adjustments you need here. Maybe moving those hips by straightening the leg. Reach the arms to the sky. On the exhale, circle the palms down, frame the front foot. Come to the ball of the back foot, maybe a one-legged plank or a traditional plank as you lower down through Chaturanga. Open your heart. Lift the hips downward facing dog. Left side, reach the left leg up and back. Pull that knee forward and through. Drop the right heel, rise up. Make your adjustments. Catch your breath if you're me right now. On the exhale, circle the palms down, frame the front foot, come to the ball of the back foot. One-legged plank or traditional plank, maybe drop the knees, draw your heart forward and through. Lift the hips up and back. Downward facing dog or child's pose. 3 deep breaths. Inhaling in, exhaling out. Inhale, exhale. One more. Inhale, rise up onto the toes, bend the knees to look forward. Step or float to the top of your mat, halfway lift. Exhale, refold. Bend the knees, sink the seat, awkward chair. Hands come to the heart, straighten the legs. Nice job. We're going to come down onto our mat just to find a few forward folds here. Forward fold to help us to slow down the body, slow down that breath. Let's start with butterfly, Badakanasana, bound angle pose, soles of the feet together. If this doesn't feel great for you, feel free to take the feet out further in front of you, or maybe even just cross at the ankles. Grabbing the feet with your hands, lift your heart on the inhale. Exhale to fold. 3 deep breaths here. Slowing it down. The sun salutations can really heat up the body. Every now and then you'll see classes where a teacher will do 108 sun salutations. I have not done that before, although I think we came pretty close in yoga teacher training. Coming back up. Take the legs open wide for one more forward fold here. Toes pointed to the sky, flexing the feet, walking the hands forward and using the exhale to come down. Deep inhales and exhales. And slowly making your way back up, hands coming inside the legs. Now we can cross the ankles, knees bent, nice tall spine. Finding just 2 little twists here. Reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, twist to the left, right hand on top of the left knee. Gazing out over that left shoulder, left hand comes behind you. Inhale back through center, reach the arms up. Exhale to the other side. Inhale back through center, arms reach. Exhale, draw the hands together at heart center in prayer, gathering in all that goodness, all that heat, all that energy. Thank you everybody for joining me tonight, or if you're watching this later, thank you for joining me at the moment that you're watching this. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Peace, Peace, Peace. Namaste.